Right, hello scholars. Sorry I can't be there today, but you can still do the lesson. So what I need you to do is take the notes up from Tuesday. It's 1.3 systems of inequality, and you should have already done that part. Go to the section where it says inequalities word problem. That's what we're going to do. All right, so have notes out and write down what I'm writing down so you can have a record of it. Let's go. So when I have a word problem, the process is very similar to the systems of linear equation where everything was, equal to, except here it's going to be all the inequality, greater than, less than, greater, equal to, and so on. So a few keywords that you have to look for are at least. So at least is what? Y has to be at least, means has to be greater or equal to. At most, Y has to be less than equal to. Minimum, Y has to be minimum of 8 people. That means Y has to be greater than or equal to 8 people, right? No more than, that means less than equal to. No less than, that means it has to be greater or equal to. Maximum, it has to be less than equal to. And total amount of, probably equal to. Okay? All right, so let's look at the example and come up with it. Annabelle is working 2 summer jobs, making $10 per hour babysitting and making $20 per hour lifeguarding. In a given week, she can work no more than 19 total hours and must earn no less than $290. So if she worked 3 hours babysitting, determine the minimum number of whole hours lifeguarding that she must work in order to meet her requirement. Sorry, you can see it. So let's go. So let be. So number of hours babysitting. Sorry, my handwriting is bad. And what else? What else is doing? L is number of hours lifeguarding. Good. Okay. Remember, always step one is to find the variable. So we need to have at least 2 inequalities going on, right? So let's start one at a time. The total number of hours she works has to be no more than 19 hours. So if B is the number of hours babysitting, L is the number of lifeguarding, B plus L has to be no more than 19. No more than. Do you agree that means less than or equal to? Yeah. Got it? All right. What else? The money she makes is no less than $290. So how much does she make? Wouldn't it be if it's a babysitting is $10 per hour and she works B number of hours, the amount of money she makes from babysitting will be 10 times B. So if she works 2 hours, $20, 3 hours, $30. So you just multiply amount by the hour rate. Same thing with the lifeguard, $20 per hour. L is the number of hours, so you just multiply 20 times L. So 10 times B, that's the amount she makes from babysitting, plus 20 times L, that's the amount she makes from the lifeguarding, has to be no more than $290. No more than. Excuse me, oh my word. No less than. No less than. So it has to be greater than or equal to. Right? It has to be bigger or equal to 290. So guess what? We have 2 inequality going on. We can go ahead and solve it and go from there. However, remember I talked about during the class how for inequality, you can't really solve algebraically, meaning I can't find a solution just by having my equations. Then how do we do it? On the class, we learn how to graph it and then find where they overlap. Well, actually, this type of problem is a little different. The reason is because of this. It gave you another number. What did it say? Annabelle worked 3 hours babysitting. So it already told you how many hours she worked for babysitting. So that means B has to be equal to 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3, plug it in B here, plug it in B here, and see what happened. Ready? So 3 plus L is less than equal to 19. And 10 times 3 plus 20 times L is greater or equal to 290. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. L has to be less than 16. That's just the one variable. Over here, 30 plus 20L is less than or equal to 290. I'm going to solve for L. Subtract 30 from both sides. So 20L is greater or equal to 260. What else? How do I have the L by itself? Divide both sides by 20. So L is greater or equal to 13. Okay, so the answer has to be what? L is greater or equal to 13, less than or equal to 16. So let me write it together. L is greater or equal to 13 and less than or equal to 16. What does L stand for? Number of hours of lifeguarding. The question is asking the minimum number of hours she has to work, the minimum. So she has to work from 13 to 6 hours. What's the minimum number of hours? 13 hours. So since my handwriting sucks, I'm not gonna write it, but you can write Annabelle has to work 13 hours minimum to satisfy this or something like that to meet her requirement. Okay? Does that kind of make sense a little bit? All right, so let's keep going. Next one right here. All right, Jackson has some pennies and some nickels. He has no more than 13 coins worth at least $0.33 combined. If Jackson has 4 pennies, determine the minimum number of nickels that he could have. If there are no possible solution, just say there's nothing. Okay. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So what do we do first? Define your variables. So what are my variables? I think I'm just going to say P for number of pennies. And what else? N for number of nickels. That's nickels right here. Okay, so those are my variables. Step number 2, you're going to write down the inequality satisfying the situation. Okay, so he has how many coins? No more than 13 coins. So the number of coins he has, which is what? Just P plus N, has to be no more than. So less than or equal to 13 coins. Good. All right, now he has $0.33 combined. Well, this gets a little confusing. Since everything is in dollars, you need to write pennies and nickels in terms of dollars. Okay, so pennies, how much is penny in dollars? What? 0.01, right? Penny is $0.01. And how many of those you have? P of them. So the amount of pennies you have will be 0.01 times P. Cool. All right, what about nickels? How much is that? That's a 5 cents, so it's going to be $0.05, and you have N of them. So 0.05 times N. So combining those two will be total amount of money he has, and that has to be worth at least $0.33. So it has to be at least $0.33. Cool? All right, so those are your inequality. Just like the previous one, it has one of the variable given to you. It says P is already 4. So let's plug it in. So P is 4. Plug it in here, plug it in here. So 4 plus N is less than or equal to 13. 0.1 times 4. Oh, I forgot 0. That's a 0 there. Plus 0.05 times N is greater or equal to 0.33. Subtract 4, N is less than or equal to 9. 0.04 plus 0.05 times N is greater or equal to 0.33. I need to solve for N. Subtract 0.04 from both sides. 0.05, N is greater or equal to 0.29. Yeah, 29. Divide both sides by sorry, give me 1 second. 0.05. I need a calculator to do that. Then N is greater or equal to 5.8. All right, so let's combine it. N has to be greater or equal to 5.8 and less than equal to 9. But folks, remember what the N stands for? It's a number of nickels. Can you have a decimal number of nickels? No. So what's the minimum number of nickels? You need 6 nickels. Cool? All right. All right, hold on. Example 5, the drama club is selling tickets to their play to raise money. Each student ticket sells for $7.50 and adult is $10. The auditorium can hold at most 90 people. The drama club must sell no less than $7.50 from ticket to cover the cost. Also, they must sell no less than 20 student ticket and at most 60 adults ticket. Wow, there are a lot going on, isn't there? Okay, so it says let X represent the number of student ticket, Y represent the number of adults ticket. Write the systems of equation and solve and all that. All right, so let's set up the inequality one at a time. So if everybody says, where is it? So X is the number of student ticket. Which already the problem says it. Y is the number of adult ticket. So those are the variable. And the number of student ticket plus the number of adult ticket combined has to be at most 90. That means it has to be less than or equal to 90. Okay? And then the money they make. So the student ticket is $7.50. So $7.50 times X plus adult ticket is $10 and 10 times Y has to be no less than. So no less than has to be greater than or equal to $7.50. Okay? If you want to go one more step, you can also set up the other two inequalities over here. They must sell no less than 20 student ticket. So student ticket has to be no less than greater than equal to 20. And the adult ticket has to be at most, has to be less than equal to 60. So actually I asked you to set that up at the number step C, but I already wrote it there. So now what we're going to do is you're going to open up Desmos.com and we're going to graph these on the Desmos and you're going to sketch over here. So give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. So there you go. I set up the Desmos. Can you see it? So I set up those two equations here and graph it, but as you can see, you can't really tell. So let me move it better. So there you go. I think on the graph, you're supposed to graph from 0 to 100 and 0 to 100. So there you go. This shaded area right here. However, actually, I'm going to go one more step. Sorry, I don't have a notes out. On the step C, what does it say? It also states they must sell no less than 20 student ticket and at most 60 ticket. So what I'm going to do here, folks, is I'm going to add those inequality on number 3 and number 4 as well. And what was that again? The number of student ticket, X has to be greater or equal to 20. And number of adults ticket has to be at most 60. You see that? You see that? It's kind of hard to tell. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of sketch these things going on, which it's going to take a lot of time. Feel free to look at the notes key on a Google Classroom to copy it down. But where will be my final answer? My final answer is where everything is overlapping, right? So where is such thing? It's going to be this little triangular area right there. That satisfied all these 4 of them. So your answer is right here in that shaded area. I think I also asked you to, for letter D, tell me one solution. So you can just pick anything here. I don't care. You can do this point and say that's what 30 comma 55 or something like that. I think that's the answer I wrote on Google Classroom, or anything over here or over here. Just pick it and then that's going to be your answer. Keep in mind, after this video, you're going to watch lesson 1.4, folks. And 1.4 is going to talk about what's called optimization. And that's going to be more like, you know, economical solution of finding which number gives the most profit, least profit, and so on. So just know that that's what we're going to do on the next lesson after this video. Okay? All right. Thank you, folks, and go watch the next video.